What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today, and right before the Hawks game starts, in fact, we are 10 minutes before the back-to-back with Minnesota now. We played Buffalo yesterday. We're playing Minnesota today. So we got the BFR. I just got off work, so I'm trying to get this as fast as I can done. So Game 8 at the Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo on October 29th at 6 p.m. Another game the Hawks deserved to win, and they didn't. Score was 4-3 in overtime for Buffalo. The Hawks go to 4-3-1. They, however, moved to third in their division because everyone in their division just keeps losing in regulation. They get outshot 45-26, and it was bad early on. Buffalo completely controlled the first period, and we'll get into that. Hits were 11-7 Chicago, not very physical, and face-offs 37-14 for Chicago. On the power play, Chicago goes 1 for 4, Buffalo goes 2 for 3. Kane was back home in Buffalo because he was born there. Kachuk was in, Kara was out. Soderblom saved 41 out of 45 in his first start of the season, and Craig Anderson from my hometown saved 23 out of 26. Only player from my hometown, not disclosing where that is. October 29th at 6 p.m., these teams faced off, and let's get into it. So, first period, Dickinson blocks a Skinner goal early. Athanasiou to Domi missed the net. Hawks were missing the net a lot early on. Then at 17:07, it's a Chicago penalty to Kurashev for slashing, which would be killed. And then at 14:09, it's a Chicago penalty to Murphy for hooking, which would not be killed, as Olofsson then whiffed on a one-timer. Soderblom makes saves on Middlestat twice. There's a scramble in front of the Hawks net, and there's a rebound, and it's a one-timer. It's a wide-open net at 13:34 for Buffalo. It's a power play goal from Victor Olofsson, his 5th of the year. However, it is blown off because the Hawks challenge for offside, and the time then goes back to 13:49. So this is maybe one of the first times I've seen this. As Buffalo scores at 13:34, the clock goes back 15 seconds to 13:49, and then 8 seconds later from now at 13:41, which would have been, since they moved the clock back, they actually score even quicker from when they originally did. It's a Buffalo power play slap shot goal from Victor Olofsson, the same goal scorer, now getting his 5th of the year from Middlestat, which makes it 1-0. Domi to Kane was then missed. Kane to Athanasiou was wide. Cousins whiffs on a shorthanded break because at 11:12 it's a Buffalo penalty to Krebs for high sticking. There's a scramble in front of Anderson, who was making multiple saves. He was flopping around like a fish. He robbed Murphy and Reese Johnson. He then robbed Radish. Cousins shorthanded was denied, and then it's a Chicago power play goal from. It was a whole scramble. There were 4 guys in the crease basically. Anderson could play. They weren't touching Anderson or near Anderson, but there were 4 guys trying to smash it in because it was right there on the line. And it was originally credited to Dickinson, but it was Mackenzie Entwistle that got the goal, his first of the season from Dickinson and Caleb Jones. Ties the game at 1-1. Then at 9:40, since Buffalo then challenged for goaltender interference, so both challenges have been used at this point. Chicago's at least was successful. Buffalo's wasn't, so it's a good goal. It's served by Olofsson at 9:40. That's a failed coach's challenge, and the Hawks had just too many turnovers on that power play. McCabe whiffed, and Paterka was denied on a break, and Hinostroza was stopped to end the period, and Cousins shorthanded was denied. We go to the second period. So Buffalo was out shooting them. I think it was 15 to, I want to say, 6 going into the period. I know it was 11-0 with 11 minutes to go in the first period. But then at 15:11 of the second period, it's a Chicago stuffing goal from Sam Lafferty, his 3rd of the season. That was where my computer screen just shut off. From Sam Lafferty, his 3rd of the year from McCabe and Seth Jones, which makes it 2-1. Then at 13:40, it's another Chicago goal from Taylor Radish, his 3rd of the season from Kurashev and Tays to make it 3-1. And all goals have been pretty greasy. That means they're getting in there, they're dirty goals, they're stuffing it in, they're just grinding it in, pushing as hard as they can to get it in. It's hard-working goals. And the Hawks are up 3-1, and then nothing much else happens that period. There's a Thompson post. Buffalo had mostly controlled play later in the period. And it was a dominant shift that they're on the Radish goal. Dahlin went hard into the boards, and he was down on the ice. It took him a while to get off, but he would continue to play. Buffalo was pressuring, and then whistles denied. Domi to Kane one-timer was stopped. So the Hawks were pressuring, and then at 3.5 seconds, it's a Buffalo penalty served by Olofsson once again for too many men. which would be killed, as the Hawks start the third with 1:57 of power play time. Jurgensen's missed on a breakaway. Buffalo was starting to tail off and was not playing a full 60 minutes, and that was my biggest regret because Buffalo, that most of the third, the first 12 minutes looked pretty bad. Chicago was controlling the play. McCabe saves an Ogposo wraparound. Tays had a near break. And then at 8:05, after I write that they're tailing off, Buffalo goal to Tage Thompson is second of the season from Ogposo, and Skinner makes it 3-2. Then at 6:48, it's a Buffalo penalty to Dahlin for high sticking, which would be killed, and it was a bad call. It never hit Domi, the high stick, but he sold it. It was a good sell. Bad call, and I honestly thought that was a pretty soccer move, and anyone who knows me knows that I despise soccer for that kind of crap, and as someone who played soccer for 11 years, it's the most hilarious BS sport on the planet and overrated as hell. Then at 3:13, it's a Buffalo goal to Tage Thompson, his third of the season, from Skinner on Ogposo, same players, who get all 3 points every single player got the same role. Thompson gets the goal, the second of the game, third of the season, who from Skinner and Ogposo for the second time in 5 minutes. And that makes it 3-3, and I'm like, okay, this game's lost. We lost the game right there. I'm like, we're about to go into overtime and lose it. But to make it even better, Jonathan Tays decides I'm gonna be a bonehead for the second straight game and cost us the game. As at 1:07, he takes a penalty for holding, and I don't even know what that was. It was a penalty. I couldn't tell you what it was. He kind of like did a ninja move over someone. And Buffalo takes a timeout then at 1:07. And we go to overtime where Buffalo starts with a 4-on-3 for 54 seconds, and it doesn't take long as at 4:24, it's a Buffalo power play one-timer goal from Victor Olofsson to the second of the game, sixth of the season, from Thompson and Dahlin as Buffalo wins 4-3. So, yeah, the Hawks lose in overtime. They blew another lead, so they really should be 6-2 this season. Or honestly, 7-1. They played pretty well against. I'm not going to give them the win against Vegas, so 6-2. But the Hawks have not been able to close out games when they've been leading. And the first couple of games you didn't see it because they didn't lead very often. But yeah. So that's all I have for you guys today. I apologize for that stoppage. But that's all I have for you guys today. These are the standings as of last night, once the games were over. And Chicago just keeps moving up in the rankings. And now they play Minnesota in a game starting in 2 minutes. So I got to go watch that. Another BFR coming tomorrow on Halloween, so that should be fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.